I'm Dutch, and let's react to the Americans. Hello, and welcome to my channel. My name is Johan, and I'm a typical Dutchman. And if you're planning to come over to Europe for your holidays, or maybe to live here permanently, or if you're wondering what are the differences between life and living in America versus life and living in Europe or the Netherlands, then you are at the right channel, because in the channel I take a look at and react to videos about life and living in America versus life and living in Europe. And for today, we're going to take a look at a second video of the TikTok Reacts. First time you realize America really messed you up, and this is part 5. So yesterday we had part 6, and now we have part 5. Let's see how the people are messed up with their experiences abroad. Let's go. Oh, and if you like this kind of content, maybe you should consider to hit the subscribe button so you can help me to get up to the first 500 subscribers. Thank you.
Is one time that made you realize that America really messed you up?
I have so many of these. So I currently live in London with my now husband. And when we were dating and I would come visit him because we were doing the whole long distance thing, you know, every time I would come, I would lose at least 5 pounds.
5 pounds, yeah. At least 5 pounds. Just by visiting.
Without a doubt, it happened every single time. And I truly think it's just because the food over here is required to be better for you. Because I was not watching what I ate. We would eat desserts all the time. We were doing the touristy things, so we eat out a lot. And on top of that, I don't exercise when I'm over here, and I also am not walking around because I use my wheelchair, so yeah.
Ooh, wheelchair. Okay. Yeah, then you won't walk around and do exercise a lot, but managing to use your wheelchair is also quite hard to do. So yeah, she does exercise, but not in the way that we think. Yeah, she doesn't exercise. She did eat everything she loved to eat, and still she loses 5 pounds.
It's literally just because there's better food laws here in the United Kingdom instead of in the United States. So there you go. That's my story.
Yeah. I've done a video, you can watch it in the channel, about the food products, the fruit. The food products, but more some components of food that are banned over here in Europe and that are totally legal in the United States. But yeah, you can watch that video, and it's amazing.
So we live in Ireland, and our oldest is in senior infants, which is the equivalent of the second half of kindergarten. She did kindergarten back in the States. And she came home from school one day, and she said, "Mommy, we had a drill today." And I went, "Oh, active shooter drill? No. Bomb threat? No. Mommy, it was a fire drill." Well, oh, okay. I mean, back home, she had active shooter drills every month in kindergarten. We get these.
Every month? An active shooting drill? Fire drill is, over in the Netherlands, required for companies and schools, etc., at least once a year. A active shooter drill once a month in kindergarten, preschool.
Phone calls, and it'd say, "Oh, in accordance with Florida law, blah, 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 everything's gone back to normal." And I'm just sitting there thinking of my kid hiding in a bathroom with 30 other kindergartners and her poor teacher trying to keep all these kids quiet. I'm like, that's not normal here. That's something we got used to because that's what America is. It's just one big active shooter drill.
Yeah, it's not normal over there. It's not normal in the United States. It's not normal over here in Europe. I fully understand it. Wow. That's the first one that I heard here. Oh, once a month.
Hey y'all, I am an American expat currently living in Kuwait. It is one of the
Kuwait.
countries in the Middle East region. Living here, I had to overcome a lot of trauma from my home country. As you can see, I am black. And being black in America, you're usually followed around stores to make sure you're not stealing.
They're following you around in the store. I hope this is not the regular thing that people do in the entire United States. I hope it's a specific state or specific city in a state that this happened, because
no one offers you help. No one offers you guidance. They just try to make sure you're not stealing, because clearly that's what all black people do. Here, people follow you around the stores. However, it's because of the luxury of it all. I mean, they're following you around the stores,
and blinking in their eyes.
holding your carts. They're placing things on the shelf. They're helping you get items. They're helping you try on things. And that was one of the traumas I had to overcome living here, that they don't think I'm a criminal. They just want me to be an actual customer.
Yeah. And he treats you like an actual customer.
Oh, I got this one. So I was in Tallinn, Estonia, and I had...
Estonia. Okay. It's if I see these videos, these TikTok videos, where people go all over the world, it's amazing. You Americans get everywhere, and still you're thinking that America is the only country that is the greatest, the best, and the richest, and the smartest, and
had like this really bad feeling in my chest. I felt terrible, and I thought I was having a panic attack, but I wasn't totally sure. So I went downstairs to the front desk. The hospital called an ambulance. The ambulance came. They did a bunch of tests, gave me some medicine, calmed me down, and did a whole bunch of stuff. It was all done in the ambulance, and then we were done. They gave me some medicine to go, and they were like, okay, go rest. And then I was like, okay, but what do I owe you? Like, I live in Finland, what do I owe you? And they were like, what do you mean? And I was like, well, how do I pay for this? And they were like, oh no, this is free. And I was like,
this is free. You must be an American, because only Americans ask if they have to pay.
what? And they were like, yeah, no, this is free. Don't worry. And then I felt really guilty for everything.
I can't imagine. How can you tell an American is in Europe? Because he wants to pay for the medical bills or for medical treatment. They are afraid of medical bills. So that's stereotypical how you can recognize an American in Europe or anywhere else in the world. What has she to say?
9 months before I moved to Ireland, I was there on a vacation, and the person I was with, we had a car, and we stayed at a golf resort kind of in the middle of nowhere because it was the off season, so it was actually really affordable. There was a gated front entrance to this golf resort, and there was a small little village on the other side of it. And because we were pretty far back in the property and it was January, so the weather was kind of crappy, we often would drive if we needed to run to the store for anything or to a restaurant. We became friends with the front gate attendant because we were in and out all the time. So one day we're driving to go to dinner, and I had asked him, hey, what's the legal limit for like drinking and driving here? I wasn't planning to do anything stupid, but I'm also a public health major, and knowing that Ireland is known for its drinking culture, I was curious, so I thought I'd ask. The guy looked at me completely dumbfounded. He's like, what? So I clarified the amount of alcohol you can have in your system and still legally drive. And he says, none?
Okay. In Ireland, you cannot drink and drive. Okay, that's not the same everywhere in Europe. Every country has so its limits. I did not know that in Ireland the limit is 0, but over here in the Netherlands, I believe the limit is a half of a percent of alcohol promillage. I believe it is. So then you're over the limit. I don't know how it is in Germany and other countries, but because I don't drink alcohol, A, and B, I never drink alcohol and drive. That's something I don't do permanently.
So my mother was a registered nurse. She was working at 2 separate hospitals. Both of those positions were full-time.
Whoa! About talking about working hours. 2 full-time positions at 2 different hospitals. 2 full-time. I do not know what full-time means, but full-time over here means 38 to 40 hours. So she was working 80 hours at least a week.
She was diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer. She had 3 children and had to work those 2 full-time jobs for several years because she needed the health benefits, because she
It saddens me. This is such a sad story that somebody who works 80 hours a week in the medical business as a nurse, has breast cancer, has to take care of 3 kids, and she has to work so that she could have her medical insurance paid by, or largely paid by, the insurance company of her employee, I guess.
she couldn't afford her chemotherapy. So while she was going through chemo, radiation, all kinds of other treatments, because her cancer was pretty advanced and there were still some clinical trials for things. So while she was going through all of that, she still had to work about 72 hours each week.
How crazy can it be? Really, people, how crazy can it be? It's not normal. Nowhere in the world, in the civilized world, and I do know in the not civilized world, but even in Zimbabwe, I believe that medical care is different than in the United States. This is so a sad story.
We moved to Canada shortly after she passed away.
She passed away. Working 2-time jobs for 72 hours a week to feed her kids until she died. And that's something that is normal in the United States? Really?
And after my father was left with over $50,000 of medical bills,
Yeah, of course, I was forgotten about the husband. $50,000 of medical bills.
and moved to Canada. Everything's free. Healthcare, just free. They just give it to you to live.
Yeah. Even across the border, it's free. Yeah, I get mad, frustrated, no, not frustrated, mad about these things. This is what people still call the greatest and the best country in the world, where people die while working for their kids while they are sick as hell. We are the best and the greatest, and I don't know, whatever you call, country in the world.
Okay, so I live in England now, but I do this thing where every time I enter a building, I analyze okay, if someone comes in with a gun, where can I hide? Where can I run? What are my emergency exits? What are my chances of getting shot? So I think, okay, if he enters through this door, I'm probably gonna get shot. If he enters through that door, I probably won't get shot because of the angle, and I try to work it out all in my head.
Okay. I get it. I do the same, but I'm for fire exits. So if I enter a building, I want to know, okay, if there's a fire, in case of an emergency, where do I need to go? But not in case of getting shot.
Head. And so one time I was on a date with this guy and we were at a bar and I was kind of looking around okay, maybe I can hide here, maybe I can hide here, just kind of analyzing the area. And he's like, why are you looking around? You look crazy, you're drawing attention to us, what the hell is wrong with you, kinda? And I was gonna say, oh, I'm just looking for an emergency exit or place to hide in case someone comes in with a gun. And then I realized gun crime isn't really a thing here.
Where's here? I did not hear where it came from, where it was. Started. So, England. Okay.
And I realized gun crime isn't really a thing here.
No, not in Great Britain. I can't imagine.
So, yeah.
Oh my gosh, such a great question. I have so many.
I have so many examples of how America messed you up.
The one that sticks out of my mind right now is the first time I celebrated the 4th of July and the Kiwis were like, oh, happy 4th of July. And I'm like, yeah, suckers. We broke away from the Queen a long time ago and we have freedom and blah, blah, blah. And they were like, hold on. What freedoms don't we have? And why is it bad that other countries work together to protect each other and help each other? And America's always talking about freedom and what freedoms do you have that we don't have? And I was like, hold up. All this rhetoric that I was told my whole life, the land of the free, we need to fight for our freedom, and it's such a value in the American society. And when you think about how many countries are just as free, where does this freedom value come from? I mean, it came back from the Revolutionary War, but hello, there's a lot of countries that are free. It was eye-opening.
Yeah. Yeah. Land of the free. Yeah. Pledge allegiance to the flag. And those kind of craziness. I think Americans are, from early age on, cultivated or brainwashed, I must say, into becoming a working drone who works for a company with getting almost no pay, while the company gets better and better, working 72 hours a week while having chemotherapy and then die. That's how America works. Land of the free. Yeah. Canada.
So I'm an American who's currently living in Canada, and in 2019, I was working on a film set.
Film set. So she works at the film industry.
We were breaking for lunch, and I promise this isn't a joke setup, but it was an American, a Canadian, a New Zealander, and an Australian were all waiting and having lunch together.
Yeah, you would say it's
together. And a truck backfires. Thinking it was a gunshot, I immediately hop underneath the table and am looking around before I realize what it was. And as I slowly get up, everybody's like, what? Why is she? And the Australian goes,
You're American.
You're an American. That's right.
Take cover when you hear a shot. It was just a truck. Oh boy. Yep.
Yeah.
So in about 2012, 2013, I lived in the Netherlands, and I
Ooh, someone who lived in the Netherlands and she has a shot with her. Okay, let's hear about it.
was learning Dutch. So when I watched the
Learning
news with the
Dutch.
Dutch subtitles, my host mom would explain to me what was going on. And I saw this priest, and apparently he had been stabbed. And I'm like, oh, why is he on the news? He's been stabbed, but he's still alive. And she was talking about, like, you know, how it was a big thing because priests don't typically get stabbed, blah, blah, blah. But I'm still wondering, like, what's the big deal? And then she's like, well, Sarah, you're from America, you have guns. And I'm like, well, yeah, we have guns. And she's like, well, over here, we don't have guns. So this is big news because this guy was stabbed. And I'm still sitting there like he's still alive. And that's when I realized we're a bit up. Because I was questioning why a priest being stabbed was news.
If he was dead, how would he be on the news?
I wasn't drunk at the time, but
I wasn't drunk at the time. No. Yeah. If a priest gets stabbed and still alive, or if a priest got stabbed and he was dead, it still would be big news over here in the Netherlands. I don't believe that that's big news anymore in the United States. It's called Tuesday, I believe.
good point.
Okay, so I came up to Ontario a few years ago for school.
Well, what is she wearing?
After already getting my bachelor's in the States, and me and my office mate were sitting there going through our bills because they had just come out and our research fellowships are being applied. And I was like, oh, look, like, wow, this is like really cheap. And she looks at me and she's like, what are you talking about? Especially yours. Yours is like several grand more than mine just because you're international. I was so used to paying so much for university in the States that I thought Canadian tuition was cheap.
While a Canadian had something, what? It's not cheap, it's the regular price.
When really it's not.
No, it's not. In Europe, I don't know about Canada. I do not know. But in Europe, I know that most countries have no tuition to get into the university or a very low. I believe over here in the Netherlands, it's something like 17 or 1800 for an entire year. So in total, if you have a 4-year study at university, you are about 6,000 euros, which you get from the government almost 90% off. So
Yeah, thanks, America.
Okay, so I've got this one. So I went to South India in 2013 for a school trip, and we all ate at a restaurant, and most of us got food poisoning and ended up
okay.
getting really, really sick, couldn't keep anything down, vomiting, diarrhea, the whole works. There were 2 of us, me and another kid, that were really not doing hot. We were getting really dehydrated, and so they ended up sending us to a hospital. We took a tuk-tuk and went to the emergency room.
Tuk-tuk, yeah.
I ended up getting 2 IV bags and spending a few hours there. And at the end, when they told me how much it was going to be when I left, they told me $9. Being an American, I was like, hold up. Did he mean 900, 9,000, right? No, $9. $9 for medication, IV, emergency, everything.
The whole 9 yards. $9. America, you're the greatest country in the world. Yes, you are.
What?
Yeah. Oh boy. Another video with TikToks with experiences from Americans living abroad finding out that living abroad is so much better than living in the United States anywhere. And I know a lot of people, yeah, the United States is the biggest, the better. No, it's not. It really is not. It's not normal to work 2 jobs, 2 full-time jobs, while having cancer treatment and feeding your kids, taking care of your kids, or 3 kids, and then eventually die. And then left over with $50,000 of medical bills for her husband. That's not normal. That is nowhere else in the world except in the United States. And we hear a lot of other people saying the same. It's not normal. And I don't get it why in the United States, with so many people having these kinds of experiences, hearing it from other people who are living abroad, are not getting up and ask or work for or fight for better healthcare system. Because they are only the minority, only, let's say, 10% of the entire United States citizens know how healthcare should work, and the other 90% doesn't. So it wasn't happen. Maybe, but that's politics. It's strange. It's really strange. Well, if you like this video, then press like. And if you want to see more of my videos, then this is a good place to start with. And otherwise, you can help me to get to the first 500 subscribers. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.